Hey guys, welcome back to Nacho Mama's Kitchen. Today we're going to make Nacho Mama's nachos. This is one of my favorite recipes to make for a gathering or when I have friends or family over. And actually this is my husband's favorite recipe. It is not a healthy recipe by all means, but it is very delicious. And it's great to have at your next football party, gathering, Super Bowl, or any sports event that you have at your house. This is a great recipe to whip up. It's not that complicated, not that complex, and a lot of the ingredients are very fresh for the marinade. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So the first thing that I'm going to do is assemble or put together the marinade. And I'm going to let the meat sit in the fridge with the marinade for about an hour. What I have here is a little bit of your favorite beer. This is Shock Top because it has that orange flavor to it. So I like to use Shock Top for this marinade. And I only used about a quarter of a cup of Shock Top. The next thing that you want to do is add some garlic to this. So I'm going to go ahead and put my garlic in my little handy dandy tool or garlic press. And I'm going to go ahead and press the garlic into the beer. Okay. The next thing that I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and move that to the side, is I want to use some lime, fresh limes I'm going to use, and some fresh orange. So I'm going to use limes and a fresh orange. You can also use orange juice if you have that in your refrigerator. I have orange juice. Sometimes I throw in some orange juice as well. But I really love using a fresh orange. I try to keep the ingredients as fresh as I can. So I'm using about 2 limes and 1 full orange for the marinade. We're going to go ahead and squeeze the limes into the marinade. It's a very citrusy recipe, which I love. It's going to give really great flavor to your meat. The longer it sits in the fridge marinating, the better. So 2 whole limes is going to be what you will need for the recipe. Squeeze away. And then I'm going to go ahead and squeeze my oranges. So the next thing I'm going to add is a quarter of a teaspoon of cumin. I make a lot of noise when I cook. We all know that. If you watched any of my other videos, you know that I make a lot of noise. A quarter of a teaspoon of onion powder. A heaping teaspoon of pepper. Quarter of a teaspoon of salt. And I do about a quarter of a teaspoon of seasoning salt as well. There we go. So once you mix all of the ingredients together, you want to go ahead and add your meat to the marinade. So right here I have some flank steak. And it's kind of the steak that you use, or arrachera that you use for carne asada. So I'm going to go ahead and put my slices in the marinade and make sure that they're submerged. And kind of flip them around. Once you go ahead and put the meat in the marinade, you want to go ahead and put a piece of aluminum foil on the container, and then you want to put it in the fridge and let it marinate in the refrigerator for about an hour. Welcome guys to Nacho Mama's backyard. We're gonna go ahead and put the meat on the grill. Go ahead and grill the meat for about, I would say on the first side I would do it about 4 to 5 minutes, and then you're gonna flip it for another maybe 3 minutes. Nice sear, and then we're gonna go ahead and let it cool and then chop it up for our Nacho Mama's nachos. So I'm going to add my final touches. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the meat after I go ahead and flip it. And then I'm going to sprinkle lots of this deliciousness. This is my secret. People put it when they're marinating before it hits the grill. No, I add it towards the end. And then I'm going to give it a few more minutes. It's Montreal steak seasoning. And I sprinkled it at the end because it has dried garlic in the mix. And so I don't want it to burn. So I don't add it or I don't add it when the meat hits the grill initially. I add it towards the end. Just flip. And then you want to go ahead and pull it out. Great, so now we're back in the kitchen. We have left the backyard, and we're gonna go ahead and make our homemade tortilla chips. They're very easy. All I did was cut up tortillas into some triangles, as you can see here, and I have some oil heating in a pan on about medium heat, medium to high heat. It looks about ready. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the triangle tortillas that I cut up. You can use tortilla chips from a bag, but I will say that making them from scratch or semi from scratch gives it just a better flavor. It tastes better, and I just prefer it than to buy the chips in the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and fry these up, and I'm going to do them in batches. You don't want to crowd your pan because you don't want them to steam. You want them to crisp up, and then once they're done, I'm going to go ahead and transfer them into a bowl that I lined with paper towels to catch all of the excess oil. Back from frying up our tortilla chips. They are nice and cooled. Now we're going to go ahead and assemble the nachos. Like I said, this is an easy recipe. The part that is more time consuming would be the marinating of the meat and grilling of the meat, but everything else is just very easy. This is the OG nacho cheese that you buy at the movies for your nachos. This is like real nacho cheese. It's none of that shredded stuff, which is delicious, but that's not what we're using. If you want to use real cheese, you can go ahead, by all means, use real cheese. So let's go ahead and start assembling the nachos. The first thing that I want to do is lay my tortilla chips on the plate. Then the next thing that goes on will be the refried beans. You can use black beans as well. I'm using pinto refried beans. Is going to be the cheese. So I've warmed the cheese up, and I use a nacho cheese from a can, and you can use any kind of cheese you want on here, if that you like. You can use shredded cheddar cheese and then stick it in the microwave and melt it. If you want to make your own cheese sauce, you can. But I'm using the nacho cheese that you kind of buy at the movies, at the movie theater. The next thing that you want to do is to chop up your meat. You want to make sure that you're going to chop it up in small bite-sized pieces. I have let it rest. Now you want to add your meat to your nachos. This is the meat that we grilled outside and had marinating in the fridge for about an hour. Okay, so now we've added the meat to the plate, and we're gonna go ahead and add our sour cream. So we're adding some dollops of sour cream on here. It's great when you have company over. You just put the platter in the middle of the table, and you'll see everyone just gravitate towards it and just go for it. And then you want to put some chopped onion. So you can do red onion, white onion. I'm using some yellow onion here, and then some fresh cilantro as well. Well, there you have it. That's all I have for you guys today. Nacho Mama's Nachos. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you make this recipe. And join me next time to see what we're cooking up in Nacho Mama's kitchen. Until next time, bye guys.